TJD episode 83. We watched Interstellar.
I'm Ty.
Jake.
And I'm Drew.
I feel like we haven't done this in a long time.
Well, we did take a week off, but, that happens. So Interstellar is a 2014 film directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Jessica Chastain, Casey Affleck, Michael Caine, John Lithgow. Jake, do you want to...
I was going to say, are you just doing this now?
No, I just was saying who was in it.
Stealing my thunder?
Yeah.
McConaughey goes to space with some fellow cosmonauts.
That would be Russians.
Astronauts.
Okay.
I never knew that that's what a cosmonaut was.
Yeah.
I like cosmonaut better.
But that's Russian.
Okay. Well, let's go to Russia.
Well,
we're almost there?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so McConaughey goes...
Hashtag stick to movies.
Yeah, no shit. We've been doing that a lot lately. NASCAR cat. Okay. So Matthew McConaughey plays Cooper, who is a pilot. Doesn't really get into specifics about his background. You just know that he used to be a pilot and he's currently a farmer. And he ends up stumbling upon, more or less, would you consider that a spoiler, or could I mention it? I mean, it's the beginning of the movie.
Stumbles upon.
The facility they go to.
Oh, yeah, give it that way.
NASA is actually still functional, even though there's kind of been a, what do you call it when you go back and change history? They went retroactively, went and altered history to make it seem like we never really went to the moon. It was just a political thing. No, NASA ends up being there, and by the way, there's dust bowls and shit, and Earth is fucked, and they're not going to be around for much longer. And so Cooper gets roped into this mission to find another inhabitable planet.
No, habitable.
Inhabitable.
No,
habitable.
You want to be habitable. Inhabitable means you can't live there.
Mm-hmm.
Inhabitable means you can't live there?
Yes.
No. Yeah, well, yeah.
But if you inhabit something...
That means... Is it one of those things where it's like inflammable and flammable, which it actually means the same thing?
So Cooper wants to find a planet that Earth can go to and live on and prosper. You fuckers. I will read a dictionary later, just to find out.
It is actually. It means exactly the same thing. Inhabitable.
Boom. Inhabitable?
Whatever. I can't talk.
Indomitable?
Yeah. Snowman?
Yeah. Alright. So, yeah, they're on a mission, and they have also, they have a plan A, which is find a inhabitable planet that we could live on, and we'll find a way to bring the population of Earth to it. And plan B is, just in case you can't bring the population here, you're going to use eggs and sperm cells, and you're going to start like a colony out of, I assume, petri dishes or something.
Ice?
Ice?
Did you say out of ice and petri dishes?
No, I didn't say ice.
I heard ice.
Okay.
Whatever.
Did you hear ice?
I don't know.
He wasn't listening.
Nope.
Alright.
And there are a few surprises in this film that we may talk about. Some of them you may know about because the internet sucks sometimes.
Fucking internet.
But
they ruin everything.
If they haven't ruined it, go watch it.
And yeah, don't listen to us. Go watch it
and
first.
Then come back.
And then come back.
Please come back.
Baby, come back!
No.
Oh.
We didn't need to go that far.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Alright.
But take these broken wings and...
Learn to fly?
Yes. Anyways, yeah.
Do you know how much we sang that yesterday?
Oh god, no. It was awful.
It was terrible.
It was an earwig.
6 hours of football, and we were singing Mr. Mister.
Yeah.
For probably 4.5 hours.
Why?
Jake started singing it.
Stuck in your head.
Mm-hmm.
You hum it, and then he hums it.
And then one of us sings
and
it.
then his fiance comes home and doesn't even know what Mr. is. And you're like, wow, I'm old.
And then we harmonized with each other.
Yeah.
And then she
And then we
left so
played
you
it.
guys could go sodomize each other.
We butt fucked each other. No, we played it for her, and she literally had no reaction whatsoever.
Once it got to the refrain, she was like, "Oh."
That was
okay."
it, though. There was no like, oh, I can understand why you've been singing it. It was just like,
Oh,
okay.
I know the song.
yeah, I've
but...
heard this once. As she backpedals into the back of the apartment.
So this movie.
Yeah, it's a movie.
But spoilers.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I got a pro at the top.
All right.
The original score is fucking spectacular. And it's one of the few scores, I think, that elevate the entire movie to a whole new level. Like, if this movie had different music, would it have had the same impact? What do you think? I don't think it would. I still think it would be a great sci-fi movie,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the music is such an important part of it, like the experience,
Yeah.
that to take that away from it or to alter it would be an injustice.
Well, and the thing about this movie is that when you have that orchestral score playing, or I don't know what else is in there, the organ,
Right.
there's a lot of like longing shots where you're seeing new worlds, you're seeing the vastness of space all around you, and that music just, it sets the tone like this. It's just this massive place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just really sets a tone that makes the movie.
And that's why I wanted to show you that special feature where they talk about the organ and going to the cathedral and wanting to play most of the score on the organ, and the fact that it has to breathe and it lends kind of a human feeling to the music and the way that it sounds. And I really like how Christopher Nolan mentions, it isn't a religious movie, but he said, I wanted to give it kind of a religiousness to the music in the sense that you're exploring the unknown,
Mm-hmm.
which religion kind of is a lot of unknowns.
Yes. It's a lot of just going on faith.
Right. So I think for a movie about discovery, it was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they got robbed out of an Academy Award.
Who won that?
I think The Theory of Everything.
I haven't seen it, so I can't.
Stephen
Knock
Hawking.
it.
He's fucking crippled or whatever.
Yeah, but who did the score for that?
I don't give a fuck. Fuck him.
Was it Hans Zimmer?
No, it wasn't.
Did
'cause
I
Hans
watch
Zimmer's
it?
a fucking god of music.
I didn't even watch it, and it sucks. Is that biased?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
fuck
think
them.
that's like the definition of bias.
Here's the thing, though. I've never seen it, and I can guarantee it isn't as good. Well, that's still biased.
I'm not biased, but
You know what?
fuck that guy.
I'm biased. All right. This pod listener, I'm gonna be biased as fuck, and this is better.
I mean, it is three guys' opinions.
Yeah.
So
This is like my biased opinion, man.
it's not like it's not like factual. No one's
We're
coming
not
here for
factual.
no.
Name
Fuck.
one fact we've ever given about this.
All that stuff I did to
That
cats.
That goes into your review of the movie.
Cats, not kids. Oh fuck. In all honesty, though, I bought the score to this movie right after watching it. It's one of those movies that in the theater you're literally there's a moment when you ever been in a movie and it dawns on you like, I'm gonna watch this movie over and over and over because it's had a profound impact on me. And
I know.
MacGruber?
Yeah.
I hate you. That's fine though. That feeling though, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Where Titanic was one where I didn't see it in the theater, but watching it, I was like, this movie's fucking incredible. And I know people shit on it, and it's over romanticized and whatever, and it is. But the amount of crazy shit that went into making that movie,
Yep.
Yeah, at the time it was like a huge undertaking.
still holds up.
Yeah.
I watched it like a couple weeks ago. It was like, holy shit.
Who the fuck just randomly watched the Titanic?
It was on TBS or something.
I don't think TBS is the funny network. I don't think they're showing Titanic.
Then it wasn't TBS.
It was probably TNT because they know
You know,
drama.
It probably was TNT. Actually, we don't have cable. It wasn't on a couple weeks ago. I just watched it.
You put it in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I put it in all right.
To Leonardo?
No.
Billy Zane.
Well, you had a 50-50 shot. You went Leonardo.
I said Billy Zane.
Yeah, so he has to be right.
Not the other 50 I was talking about. Jesus fucking Christ. Would you agree? You like the music?
Yeah, it's great. It is. It's wonderfully scored.
Wonderfully scored.
It's very poetic.
The boys go on a rant about watching Weekend at Bernie's with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Okay.
Pros cons about Interstellar.
Actually, I was going to talk to you about this before the pod, but I said I'll probably bring it up on the pod. I think the third act of this film is a little weak.
Describe when the third act starts.
When he enters
Gargantua.
Yeah.
Why?
So
because you also said something that led me to believe that you didn't understand what happened.
No. So, okay, I'll tell you here's what I understand.
Okay.
He goes into Gargantuan, which is a black hole.
Yes.
And there are many theories about what is actually a black hole, what's in it, etc. No one knows because, well, anything that goes in it can't come out.
Mm-hmm.
But he enters a new space that has been created by what he perceives to be humans sometime down the line have created a fifth dimension.
Okay.
And in this fifth dimension, he's able to correspond with the past. Like, past isn't linear. He's able to go back and interact. And in doing so, he just finds the perfect time in which he can then help her by giving her the information to solve the gravity issue that they're having on Earth.
Right.
And so then he does, and it's through her bookcase, but I think it uses her bookcase because that's what he can correspond to because it's his child. Like, why exactly it's his bookcase, I don't know. Her bookcase, I don't know that, but it's... And then once he's able to get the information out, whoever opened this fifth dimension then closes it down because they accomplished what they needed to. But my issue then, it creates I don't remember what it's called, but it creates a closed circuit, loop. Like, this has to happen for this to be able to happen. But then, how did that happen? Because who knows how this was going to happen.
Talking about a time paradox?
Yeah.
Why does it create a time paradox?
So, humans obviously had to get off Earth to create a fifth dimension.
Right.
But, create the fifth dimension for him to be able to fall into, to then be able to go back and give her all the information.
So there were two problems. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a scientist, obviously, but just saying from the top, this
Okay.
is how I perceive it. The Tesseract... Okay, hold on. Let's back up. So he goes into Gargantua.
Yep.
And falls down into the bookcases, and you're like, what the fuck is all this? Remember when they talked about time would be a physical construct in another dimension? And you said, we don't know what's in black holes. Well, popular theory is that it would be other dimensions, and that we would be able to do things that we can't do here. It'd be beyond our understanding of the universe, right?
That's one theory, yes.
Well, that's the theory they go with.
Mm-hmm.
So when he gets there, their fifth dimension, they're able to take time and turn it into a physical thing that can be interacted with via gravity. The problem that them, or whoever made the Tesseract, had, McConaughey mentions, he goes, they don't know how to communicate between the dimensions. So they could put the black hole there for them to travel through to the other galaxies and all these other habitable planets, but they didn't know how to just come out and say, here's the pieces you need. So, trying to solve a puzzle. So, the way that he did that, remember when Brand was talking about love and how there isn't really a real meaning for it, it's just a special thing? and that, and Cooper tries to take the cold, kind of analytical, like, well, for creation, we need to sustain life and, companionship and stuff like that. And she goes, well, we love people that have died, and that doesn't fit that criteria. And Cooper even admits that's beyond that. And she goes, well, why couldn't it be kind of, she doesn't say it, but she's like, why couldn't that have some kind of other dimension like power? Because she said there's some reason I'm compelled to go to this planet.
To Edmonds.
And it ended up being the habitable one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the ace in the movie's sleeve, the love angle. A lot of people got pissed about that because it seems like a what do you call it?
Cop out.
A cop out, Deus Ex Machina.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, love solved it. And honestly, the first time I watched it, I was like, love? Like, what the fuck? But the more I thought about it, the more I went and read online about shit, the more I kind of came around. And I'm like, okay, I understand now. Because the first time I watched, I don't know how you perceived it, it seems like a random conversation that won't really come back. Mm-hmm. It seems more like Anne Hathaway making excuses as to why she wants to go there.
Yeah.
But in reality, when I thought about it more, it made the bookcase thing in the Tesseract make more sense.
Because he loves Murph.
And he said, why Tars asked, why would she take the watch? And he goes, because
I gave it to her.
Because I gave it to her. Like, they have a bond that he doesn't have with Tom, obviously, because it's Casey Affleck. Fuck him. I guess. Yeah. I'm actually all right with him. I don't care. But that's... And then the other thing that seemed to bother you was that he was just kind of floating out in space, and they came and got him. Well, he kind of solved I went through a fucking black hole and no one knows how to get me. I think when he relayed that information, then they were able to come and get him from whatever fucking dimension. And it just shows him floating out in space. Because you were like, he's supposed to be dead. And I'm like, well, yeah, but we all, if he's in like a limbo or I don't know. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't know how gravity works there. We just know that he's able to use gravity to affect time, but we don't know how gravity is impacting him as a person when he's floating in this ether, I guess. So you could be mad about it. Shit, we watched it with Nate Douglas. Well, he don't care.
He said his name, so.
Well, we watched it with Nate, and I remember after the movie, Nate was like, it would have been cooler if McConaughey just would have died when he went through. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I could see that. Like, people like... It'd be more realistic, probably. Like, your immediate... Like, if I were to hear that an astronaut went through a black hole, I would automatically assume they died.
Well, and, I mean, it kind of goes along with the rest of the movie where those first astronauts that went out for Project Lazarus, they went out with the intention that that all of them except one weren't going to come back.
Right.
So that kind of fits that, I don't know, that theme or that, what they were doing. I mean, they were out there to save Earth, or save mankind, rather.
Kind of a suicide mission, but
yeah.
You're doing it for a very noble cause. Only to find out that you're not, because you were lied to. Did you like that? I feel they could have explained it better.
That's what I was just going to ask you.
Explained what better?
How he got out of there.
Yeah. I don't get, like, because they said whoever they are, which he perceived to be humanity years later,
right,
created this Tesseract inside this black hole.
Right.
So how did humanity years later, like I said, it creates a time, in my mind, it creates a time paradox. And that's the reason, like, I hate Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, is because there's a giant time paradox and people are just like, it's not a time paradox, it just always was. Harry always saved Harry. It's like, that makes no fucking sense. When did Harry first save himself?
But the thing about a time paradox is McConaughey didn't do anything that would prohibit him from doing anything he had done up until that point. Because he went and he did the gravity thing, he went and he did the books, he went and he did all of that. The only thing he did that we didn't know about, that we learned about at the same time, was the watch thing.
Mm-hmm. And that was when Murph was older.
Now, a time paradox would have been, he fucking died going through the black hole, for whatever reason. let's say he had a fucking heart attack. Something stupid. The black hole didn't kill him. They were still trying to bring him to the Tesseract, but he had a fucking heart attack because holy shit, you're going through a black hole. That would have fucked everything up because then he wouldn't have been able to do any of that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he wouldn't have.
And that would be a time paradox because you already did it, but you didn't make it to do that, so you fucked up time.
Okay, I can now kind of see where it is not.
Right.
Okay.
I think it closes. It just... I think it doesn't explain how it closes as easily, which I don't know how the fuck you would make it.
But also, him just floating out in space near Saturn, he's dead. Like, I'm sorry, I don't care if they find him.
Was he near Saturn?
Yeah.
Well, it was like, that's where the space station was, or the Cooper station, that where he ends up is on Saturn.
But all you see originally was just him floating and the two little flashing cop whatever ambulances out in space.
But how long had he been out there?
We don't know. Plus, you're inside the black hole, so you don't like time. Like inside a black hole, we don't know the relative time period. It could have been a second. It could have been.
That's what I'm saying. When I'm like him not aging when he's in the Tesseract, we don't know.
I am not like the age thing. I understand. It's all relativity, all that. That I'm not upset with. It's him literally floating out in space.
Well, I'd imagine if they caused the Tesseract to close,
whoever they are,
then I guess I don't understand what...
He goes in black hole. Finite area, whoever created it, God, they, humans, whoever, allowed him. Then they closed it once he did what he needed to do.
Right.
And he was out floating in space.
Then he's just out floating in space.
Okay. You're wondering how he's alive.
Yes.
I mean, we don't know how long he was floating.
I'm just saying, out in the coldness of, like, I understand you can do a spacewalk and all that shit, but he literally pretty much lost all of his support once he went to the... I don't know.
You were very upset.
I just didn't think it...
Just would you agree that they didn't do a great job of explaining how he came to be, where he was, and then all of a sudden he's on Cooper Station on Saturn?
No, but I don't think the movie's really about that. It's still trying to just be a fucking movie.
I know, but I'm just saying the third... Like, from what you've seen from Act 1 and 2 to then that just... It takes the film in a completely different direction, in my opinion. And I think it honestly slows it down.
Okay.
It's just my opinion. I just didn't think the third act was as strong as the first two.
All right. You're entitled to feel that way. I didn't think it was that bad.
I'm not saying it was terrible. I'm just saying it to me it differed very much so from the rest of the film.
How'd you feel about the first two?
I loved them.
You loved it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I was like, the third act to me, like, watching those first two acts, everything just flew by. Once he entered the black hole, I kind of was like, I get what's going on. I get this is why it's important to the film, but I wasn't as
But you had all the
anymore.
setup that you wouldn't have understood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is the ghost? How did they get coordinates? They had to try to fill it in. But I can understand not being satisfied with how they filled it in.
And maybe that's it. Like,
but it's also like, how the fuck do you fill that in? You know what I mean?
mm-hmm. But I just also find it weird that he was able to manipulate the sand falling from like another floor. Like, I didn't get how that...
He was adjusting gravity with his hand.
Mm. Like, I thought he was like running his fingers through the sand and creating the ripples.
No.
So okay, like I was.
He
a
made the
confused.
dust collect in certain areas, and that's what let them know, hey, there's something weird going on here. And he did that by tweaking the little thingies.
So, okay. So here's where I kind of think brings up time paradox. Who opened the wormhole?
They put it there.
Who's they?
Nobody knows. Even McConaughey was like, it could be us in the future. It could be us when we're more advanced. Like, they don't answer what they is. They could be God, if you wanted to believe that.
It's an unknown, so it breaks all the rules.
Okay. That's just... that's kind of where it created the paradox. Is if it is man, like McConaughey thinks that the fifth dimension is, then how did they get to the place where they could create a wormhole if they didn't make it off Earth? Like, who made the first wormhole for then McConaughey to be able to go through, to then go through the whole thing, and then...
We're talking about a fifth dimension. I'm not going to argue about fifth dimensions.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm talking about now just the wormhole itself.
Okay. They obviously have whatever technology or understanding of the universe to make a physical contraption that can allow people to fuck with time. They could go back to whenever the fuck they want and put a wormhole somewhere. Because I would imagine if you can make a physical thing out of time, a wormhole's not going to be that much of an issue. You probably got a good handle on shit. You probably make more money than me.
Who knows? Maybe.
I would hope so. It's just it's space.
Yeah.
And you can argue till you're blue in the face about outer space. And Ryan,
and maybe
too.
what bothers me is McConaughey's character seems so certain it was humans, and if they hadn't maybe addressed that, then maybe I could be like, yeah, it's anything. It was a naturally occurring wormhole. It was actually set there by God or just, something, an alien species.
It's his belief.
Yeah.
He can believe what he wants.
Yeah. So
doesn't mean he's right.
Yeah. Does it bother you?
It just,
other people's beliefs?
Yes. No.
Set this
loaded
trap.
questions.
Yep.
Just as long as they go with mine, they're fine.
Oh.
I don't know. It made it seem like I was like, no one wouldn't write that in there. It didn't feel to me though, unless that's how he felt the movie was going. That it was humans down the line are the ones who created this.
Perhaps. I don't know, wouldn't you automatically assume that whatever thing we ran into had something to do with us? Because as far as we know, we're all there is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless you bring religion and all of that into it. But McConaughey didn't come off as overtly religious to me. He seemed very analytical, scientific, Not that you can't have both, but he, when Murph's talking about ghosts, and he's explaining that's not a thing. Your parents are here to be memories for your kids and stuff like that. He seems very, I'm this and that's gonna be it, but he cares about humanity, which is nice. I think he's a good character.
No, I agree. But when I put it that way, that with now the wormhole, like forget the whole time paradox with the fifth dimension. Mm-hmm. Can you admit that maybe there's a time paradox within the wormhole?
Within the wormhole?
With the wormhole. If humans were to have created it, there could have been a time paradox with it.
There could be a time paradox with anything.
Okay.
Couldn't there?
Well, maybe we just need to get off the time paradox thing then.
I mean, the whole idea of a time paradox is already fucked to even try to understand. Like, it's approaching Metal Gear Solid levels of stupidity.
No, I understand.
Snake there, Mines there. You ever played that?
No.
Oh, whenever you die, it's a time paradox, because the story's already happened. So you're a failure, is what the game tells you.
You did something you couldn't do.
Right. Because the story's already happened, and you didn't die fucking crouch rolling off a cliff like you just did.
Maybe they did, and they just didn't like the way that was written.
This is what listeners like to hear.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid stories.
I did not expect to have to try to brush up on scientific method.
You didn't think we were going to talk about this at all?
No, good thing I listened to Neil deGrasse Tyson on audiobook.
Really?
I have before.
How is he?
I don't understand. I took notes, but then I drew a squirrel.
Jake, it was just Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh. Still hard to follow.
Oh. There's a lot of different trains.
There were a lot of time paradoxes I didn't care for.
What kind of train was it?
You fucking Debbie Downer.
Not
It's
true.
fine. Honestly, what you're saying I understand because a lot of people feel the same way. They didn't like the third act. They thought that the love thing... A lot of people had an issue with the love thing.
I honestly, the love thing doesn't fucking bother me at all. It really doesn't. Like, I get that emotion as being a driving force. I think it is in human nature.
Well, you know, they say in movies and shit all the time, like, love is the most powerful emotion that one can, you know, it transcends feelings, some would say.
Like, I'm not trying to be sappy, but love makes you do stupid things, but it also makes you do...
Sorry, I was vomiting.
You're fine. It makes you do some great things as well. So, yeah, sure.
I mean, you do that.
Do what?
Vomit?
Talking about 3-day loads, which you're not in on.
Nope.
Well, that sounded weird.
I'm not in on the 3-day.
Yeah, it's a club Drew and I have where we save
Nope.
up for 3 days.
Nope, this isn't a thing.
Then play Limp Bizkit?
We shoot it into beakers and compare.
Volume?
Beaker, the puppet.
Yeah.
That's the sound he makes when
Who
he's
gets
sodomized.
Bunsen?
Nobody wants him.
Bunsen, how do you
He
do?
has to watch and masturbate in the corner.
He's a Muppet.
Boy.
So's the other one. Jesus Christ.
Dude, wasn't expecting to talk about Muppets jerking off.
Yeah, the
In a
3-day
pod.
loads.
Yeah. That's a new that's a new location for us.
Speaking of 3-day load, McConaughey.
He
Yeah.
get you there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
buddy.
What do you think, Pro?
He was good, yeah. It's weird seeing a guy who... I love McConaughey. But, like, a guy who, like...
Sucked.
Yeah. To be in a Nolan film like this...
He was in terrible things. McConaughey.
Or like, just commercial appealing things. Like, where...
Failure to
stuff you-
launch.
Yep, that
You
was
don't
the
have
first
to-
one. That's always the first that comes to mind where I'm like, ugh.
You know, it does have a couple good jokes in it, but it is a terrible film.
Alright.
Say what you want, but I like How to Lose a Guy.
No, I love How to Lose a Guy. But that was a commercial film. He didn't really have to act. He just was like, I'm just the good-looking guy here, and here's Kate Hudson as well.
I mean, the acting's not phenomenal. It's just funny.
Yeah.
McConaughey has chops.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, I love Sahara, but it's not because of his acting. He pulls it off because it's just fun for me. But
I didn't hate that movie.
no, it's enjoyable. It's B-movie Indiana Jones. It's better than the fourth Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
But that isn't hard to do. But
I saw it in the theater.
Me too.
yeah,
Crying.
yeah, Crystal Skull or whatever.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Fuck it, whatever. Yeah, that movie sucked.
Yes, it did. That was another great date movie.
Did you get some at least?
No, nobody was in the mood.
Like, ugh, Shia LaBeouf.
This Harrison Ford doesn't get you?
No. Rolling out of a fridge somehow?
Yeah, not dead.
I don't think I've ever been so horrified to see something in my whole life.
Yeah,
When he opens that fridge door and I'm like, wait, what the fuck just happened?
I was so mad.
nuking the fridge took over for jumping the shark.
It made me feel like I didn't understand things because I'm like, you couldn't live
No,
getting in a fucking lead fridge.
No, that's not happening.
I love how but they like they tried to make it seem reasonable because you see, it's lead lined, so obviously it's good. It'll help him.
Shit, I'm radioactive.
Oh, he's Imagine Dragons?
No.
We're gonna cut that.
Oh.
That was that bad. You just farted in the middle of the pod, basically. Fucking cats.
Turn into a NASCAR cat.
He's clearly very upset. The cat's not Drew.
Shut up!
You had to come see what's going on, huh? Fucking fat kitty. More pros, more cons. What do you think of Hathaway? Fine.
Serviceable.
She was fine.
Do you like her hair?
No, actually, I hated it. I
know.
hated it. It looked good on some people. On her, not very good. Same with Katy Perry. I don't like Katy Perry with short hair.
I'd agree.
So, like, Kerry Russell?
How about acting?
Oh, she was fine.
I think she had her moments.
Yeah.
I actually don't care for her very much.
We know.
Oh, I've voiced this in the past.
I don't know if you did on the pod, but you have before, yes.
Yeah, she's like just a hair above Julia Roberts for me.
What about Jennifer Lawrence?
No, I probably like Jennifer Lawrence more.
Okay.
Just a little bit. She just likes playing dress up. It's
Oh,
a little irritating
She's
thing.
dating Aronofsky now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for her career.
Yeah.
Aronofsky's like, isn't he like 20 years older than her?
I think so, yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Good for him, I guess. Throwing that in there.
Sure. Yeah.
Kudos.
No, Hathaway has her moments, but I think she's always like just a solid actress. She's just out there doing her thing.
Do you feel like she tries too hard?
Yes.
I've always felt that way too. And that Academy Award winning speech, well, not the speech. The speech didn't win an Academy Award. When she got an Academy Award for, was it Les Mis?
Did she win for Les Mis? I never saw Les
I
Mis.
think she did.
Okay. It wouldn't surprise me.
It always rubbed me wrong that she walks up there and kind of has this smirk on her face and she goes, "It came true."
I remember that.
It never sat right with me. I don't know why. It's this little fucking nagging thing that bothers me. Like, oh, you wished for it and it happened. You rich actress. This thing that you wanted, you just got it.
It's every actor's dream.
Yeah,
But
it
I
was
don't-
Les Mis.
But did she earn it?
I never saw Les Mis, so I can't tell you.
Well, I didn't see The Theory of Everything, but I could tell you.
Who'd she go up against that year? You have to tell me, and then I could tell you if she earned it or not and be biased about it.
Did she win Best Actress?
No, Best Supporting.
Best Supporting?
I don't know. You
That's
want to look it up?
That's a great musical, man.
I don't like musicals. You know Hamilton? Have we talked about Hamilton?
No.
Do you know what Hamilton is?
Yeah, it's a movie about it's a musical about Alexander Hamilton.
Where they rap?
They rap?
They rap.
Yeah, it's like
It's stupid. That's what it is.
I've never seen it, but people are enthralled with that.
It's fucking garbage.
Have you seen the whole thing?
Why would I see the whole thing? I listened to like one song.
Why is that the only reference that you have?
Because if I hear one bad rap rendition of a fucking Broadway thing, why the fuck am I going to listen to more of it? Here's something that probably shouldn't go together. Rap and Alexander Hamilton.
But Mark Twain, Vanilla Ice.
He's got you there.
No!
Thanks, Ty.
You know what? Enjoy your Hamilton. I don't give a fuck.
I'd heard the name Hamilton, knew it was a Broadway thing, had no fucking clue what it was about.
You know what? It reminds me of...
Cats?
No. Remember Degrassi always tried to do all this dumb, dopey shit and try to, like, make it hip, even though it wasn't fucking hip? That's what Hamilton is, except everybody loves it. And I'm sitting here like, what the fuck? Like, why do you like this? And everyone's like, oh, it's educational. It educated me, and it taught me that this is garbage. That's all it taught me.
I'm actually going to make a conscious effort to go see it now.
Well, that's not what I was going
to
for.
form an opinion.
Okay.
And not be biased?
Yes. Because I can't argue a point on it until I've seen it.
I'll pull some up on YouTube right after
No,
this.
because then I want the full context. I want to watch the whole thing.
You don't need the whole context.
No, but I do, because then I
Like,
can
if I
argue
were to
with you
watch a
about it.
man get raped in an alleyway, I wouldn't need to watch the whole thing.
You're
to
like,
be
why
I
are we
don't want
watching that
this.
right now?
I don't need to see his pants pulled off. I don't need...
Brokeback Mountain, the finger lick thing. I never needed to see it. I understood what was happening.
So you saw that, and you're like, "This isn't garbage."
No, the movie was good.
But if you saw that one part, if that's all you saw,
Ang Lee brings...
if that's all you saw,
If that's all you saw, you'd be like,
Oh, no, I...
That's what I'm saying.
So you're comparing the rap song I heard to someone licking their fingers before anally sodomizing someone.
Yes.
It's like apples to oranges.
Oh. Okay. We've strayed a bit from Interstellar.
And this surprises you how?
No, it doesn't surprise me. I'm just trying to push the train back onto the track.
That's never you.
No, not really.
No.
I'm usually steering the train.
Because really, do you need to steer a train? It's on tracks.
Fuck off! What about when it splits?
Yeah, that's pretty much the only time. But then again,
that's my job.
But the tracks then just link up, and you go on the new set of tracks.
God damn it! Why do train conductors make so much money?
Because they have to know when to slow down, and you pretty much have to be up the whole time.
That's it. Why the fuck aren't we doing that right now? Be making bank.
You can.
No.
And also, they go to like desolate places because they're just hauling coal and shit. They're not hauling people anymore.
Well, that's no fun.
No. That's why that movie bombed at the box office with Denzel and Chris Pine.
And the director killed himself.
Oh, I didn't know about that. Who the fuck was the director?
It was Tony Scott.
Oh. Never mind, I did know that. I didn't know he directed that.
Yep. I think it was his last one.
You know, that makes sense. Not that it was his last one, but like now I think back to watching that film, it is kind of directed like a Tony Scott film would be. Like Top Gun. Quite a bit in that film.
It was a Tony Scott film. Okay. Cons.
I gave one already, but
Time paradox.
Now, my only gripe with it was when we discussed it earlier. The whole how did McConaughey get back to Cooper Station?
How'd you feel about the runtime? You want to bitch about that?
I think like I said, the first two acts didn't feel it at all. By the third act, I felt it a little bit, but I didn't think it was terrible.
Okay. But you would come out against. You have this thing where if it isn't 90 minutes,
well, the film doesn't have to be 90 minutes, but it was almost
Cloud
3
Atlas.
hours.
I don't have a problem with long movies as long as you
are entertained.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it
Gladiator's a long movie.
Yeah.
Are you not entertained?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a fucking tie joke right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. I don't feel good about that.
You want to cut that?
Nah, we'll leave it.
I actually really like that.
I'll bet you did.
I better cut it.
I'll cut you.
All right.
In the nut.
Just the one, huh?
Well, because yesterday in our discussion, you only had one.
Oh, God.
Ha! Got one.
Oh.
Matt Damon.
Yeah, we already gave a spoiler, so I forgot about that.
Who is Matt Damon?
Would have been more surprising, but fuck the internet.
Fuck the internet. Yeah, that...
Honestly, also, too, fuck the production company. Who did this film? Warner Brothers? Or Legendary? But
yeah.
Is Legendary its own, or is there a parent company to Legendary? Like Warner Brothers or something?
It's Paramount.
Paramount. I think when the DVD came out, they showed Matt Damon.
Shouldn't have done that.
No.
How much later, though?
I mean, that was a couple months after, because when you do the DVD. So, this came out, what, in summer?
Was it a summer movie?
Here, I got the release date here.
I'd imagine it was sometime during the summer. It's when Nolan tends to roll his stuff out.
Interstellar was released on October 26th. So it was
later than I thought.
later, but when was the DVD release? I can look that up right now. Home Media was released on March 31st. So it was probably an Easter type film. Like they're like, hey, buy it for Easter, you know? Because sometimes people do gifts for Easter.
Like movies?
Yeah. My parents would always do one small gift. Like a thing in my Easter basket.
Yeah, I'd get something like that too. The Easter Bunny must have just hated you.
There was an Easter bunny?
They ate it.
My dogs ate the Easter bunny. They would.
No.
I've seen it.
They killed one before?
Yeah.
Watership Down?
Pretty much.
Your dad just murdered the Easter bunny in front of you. He's like, but, yeah, I think they showed him, and I was like, he's in it, and then it was all over the internet, because I think people then realized, who hadn't seen it yet, people were like, Matt Damon's in it, and then it became a huge thing on Facebook, and anywhere you went,
So you were in a unique position, because you told us you had it ruined for you, and you also had it ruined for you that he's kind of not a good guy.
Yep.
Do you think knowing that made it more interesting watching him?
Actually, it was kind of cool to see, because I didn't know how far it went. I didn't know he was going to try and maroon them. I didn't know if he was going to try and actually murder them, like what he was going to do.
Yeah.
So it was kind of intriguing knowing he's a bad guy. Like, what's he going to do? What does he do now that I know that he's this way?
Mm-hmm.
So, and it, like, I didn't know it was because it was out of, like, desperation and loneliness that he did it. Like,
Right.
that he kind of just went insane. So.
Yeah, I really liked his dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the acting I thought was really good. He came off as very standoffish, I think, anyway. He's very cold, very,
calculated.
Calculated. He would respond to people, but he kind of always had the control. I don't know how to describe it, really. He kind of navigated what conversations, how much information he gave. He always had a response for something, probably because he had forever to fucking plan all of the interactions out, which makes it disturbing to watch him. Like, he really comes off as, like, a sociopath. Just in how, like when McConaughey and Anne Hathaway find out that Anne Hathaway's dad had lied. There never was intended to be a plan A, that he just had to talk McConaughey into going. And they're trying to rationalize, like, why would he do that? And Damon's just kind of very matter-of-factly, like, it's the survival of the human race. And it was a grand sacrifice your dad made. By being a monster, he is saving humanity. And
because he needed McConaughey.
And it kind of let you know immediately what kind of mindset he was going to be. And, like, that was the first indicator for me going in. First off, I was like, McConaughey.
McConaughey?
No, I was like, Matt Damon is in the fucking Ziploc bag? Like, what the fuck is going... Like, I didn't even know he was in it. So it was cool. But as he's giving them that rundown about, like, oh, the planet's great, and, like, you're kind of paying attention when they come down, and you're like, it doesn't look great.
No.
Like, there's no vegetation.
But he sent probes, he said.
It's cold. It's rocky. There's not really anything here that would make me think, oh, shit, we could live here. But he's talking about, the water's alkali down below the surface. There is a surface, and, like, it's just very off. It's off. Something's off. But, I thought he was...
And then, like, when McConaughey's like, hey, show me, and then he's like, okay, you got this? Yeah. Well, you're going to need this. Yeah. Are you charged? Yeah.
Right.
He's like...
I don't like the weather. And you're like, the weather's... Like, it was doing nothing at the time. And he's like, well, we got to wait for light. And he's like, well, it's light right now. And I'd rather get it done now than later. And he was kind of trying to talk him down from going and looking... And then when they're going out there, he just gets more and more weird.
He's like, when you're dying, like, the last thing they think you see is your kids.
Yeah.
It's like,
right.
Why are you bringing this up?
Right. And McConaughey, I think, was kind of just like, you've been alone a long time, and I'm going to hear you out. But
and also, just a walk. We need to talk.
Well, also, he mentions, like, he goes, I thought I was going to die there. Like, I put my beacon on, hoping that you guys would come, and like you have no idea what it's like to long for that human interaction once you've been alone as long as you have. And
I also he was like, he goes, I was ready to face death. I just wasn't ready to face the fact that it wasn't my planet.
Right. He had never even thought of that as a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess would kind of be arrogance.
Yeah.
That you just think everything will work out for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was interesting. Because it makes sense. He's that ugly part of humanity that's just survival. I'll do whatever I have to do to survive. But he's also kind of the disgusting part of humanity that's like, I'm somehow helping right now. I'm going to be the hero. Because he's like, I'm going to do it for you, Cooper. Like, right before he fucking blows out the airlock, he's like, I'm going to do it for you guys. I'm going to save you. And it's like, you're leaving us. Like, you're killing us right now. But you're talking about saving humanity. Like, he's fucking crazy. But I thought he was convincing.
I just didn't understand why he was going to leave. Like, what's the big deal? He tells them, hey, yeah, my info wasn't good. What's the big deal?
Because he lied to get them down there.
Yeah.
And I think he was ashamed of it and scared.
Well, yeah, because he had a shit planet, but he activated his beacon anyway.
Right. So then people show up and you're excited because there's people, but then you're like, well,
I gotta get out of here.
Right. They would have looked around and eventually figured out, and that's what they started doing. The what's his name went over and was looking at the torn up robot, and they bring it on, and he'd rigged it to explode, and right there it's kind of like, what are you going to say now? And yeah, he even still kind of tried to save face, because when he jumps on the radio, he's like, I don't know what Cooper told you, but it's like, are you really that crazy that you think that she would go with you or believe that
after
you're not
she
a
already
piece of
found
shit?
Cooper almost dead?
Yeah, he was pretty creepy.
And then the arrogance to be like, they're like, it's not attached. He's a scientist. He should know what would happen.
Yeah, he's not a pilot though.
Yeah.
That's why Cooper's the shit. What do you think of Wes Bentley? Dead?
Super dead.
Barely in it.
Great beard though.
Yeah. Rocked that beard. So.
Pretty weak though. He didn't move around in that gravity too well. Then he was gone. Pretty bad at surfing.
Yeah. Body surfing?
More like getting into a ship. Like, he had all the time in the world to get on that
Yeah, I
ship.
know. He took his sweet ass time.
He was just sitting there just watching the robot carry Anne Hathaway all the way back. I don't need to get in.
I probably would have watched the robot too.
It's a robot. You've seen it do this before.
It's a cool robot though.
I would agree. They were cool. They were funny.
God, the sound things look tiny.
I kind of agreed. Do we want to go scenes?
Yeah. Is it that time?
Oh, I'm just asking, unless people have more pros and cons.
I don't know.
I mean, like, the acting is a pro. Like, the cinematography, definitely a pro.
The shots are amazing.
That's one thing I forgot about. Some of those shots are outstanding. Like the traveling through the wormhole, the shooting by the black hole to then going into the black hole.
Yeah, the special effects took an insane amount of time. Like I can't remember what it was, but they'd broken down the size of the memory required to do those special effects. It was something fucking crazy, like a bunch of terabytes. I don't remember the number, but it was off the chain.
Terabytes of data to come up with that?
Something like that.
That's insane.
And I think scientists were actually like, yeah, this would be roughly what we'd imagine it would be. And it just looked super reflective, and it's crazy. Like, I love how the wormhole looks, and when they're going through it, and when he goes into Gargantua, looks insane. And they used a lot of, it's practical effects, but, like, they used miniatures for a lot of the stuff. So like when you see the ship, it's actually a little figure that they made that, you know, the way they filmed it made it look gigantic.
Mm-hmm.
But and I think when they were filming it, they tried to make as many like actual sets as possible, and he had all the special effects already done, so he was able to like project it for the actors so they could like look outside of the ship and be like, oh, like this is what we'd be seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So it helps with acting, I think, too. No, just really cool. I liked it. I like this better than Dunkirk.
Which I didn't get a chance to see Dunkirk.
Me neither.
Dunkirk goes back to like Memento type confusing. For me, anyway.
Yeah, I heard it jumps around a lot with different storylines, and
I was all fucked up. I had no fucking like they'd literally be showing something at night, and I had no fucking idea when it was supposed to be taking place. Because you'll see Cillian Murphy on a fucking boat, and then you'll see Cillian Murphy doing something at night, and you're like, I can't keep track. I think it's one of those I'll need multiple watches, and then I'll understand.
Why does he love Cillian Murphy?
I like Cillian Murphy.
I don't think he's bad, but he's to Christopher Nolan what Johnny Depp is to Tim Burton.
No. Johnny Depp is like all Tim Burton has, and he's in like all the movies. He was Scarecrow. He wasn't really in it all that much. In Batman, he wasn't in Memento. That was Guy Pearce. Following, he didn't have a budget, so nobody was in it. All right.
Okay.
Riveting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! Christopher Nolan did that Robin Williams movie.
Which one?
Patch Adams.
He really did Patch Adams.
No, not Patch Adams.
I was like, what?
The one with Al Pacino. Insomnia.
Oh shit! I never saw Insomnia.
It's good.
Do you like how I sold that?
Yeah. It's about time travel.
Oh really?
No,
Oh.
he's just trying to kill someone. I think Robin Williams is a serial killer, which he's very good at playing.
1 hour 5.
Was.
Yeah, he's good at playing a dead guy now.
Jeez.
I miss Robin Williams.
Everyone does.
Jack?
No, Jack can
Jack?
go to hell.
You never saw Jack?
Wasn't that
It's where he had that reverse. It was like that Benjamin Button disease.
But he got older quicker.
Yeah.
wasn't that Francis Ford Coppola? Guy that did The Godfather.
Yeah. I don't know if he did Jack.
Did Jack?
Let's find out.
Oh my god. Well, I hope that's not true.
Yeah, because that'd be a real step down.
Jack.
Make sure you put Robin Williams. Are you sure he didn't do Kangaroo Jack?
The Anthony Anderson movie?
Yeah. Hey.
This movie, Jack. This one.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's scroll down.
Oh no.
Diane Lane. Ooh. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Diane
Francis.
Lane.
Coppola. Yeah, Coppola.
Corpula.
Yep, Corpulus.
What's wrong with Diane Lane, Jake?
What's wrong with her?
Yeah.
She's not here right now.
Yeah, that's accurate.
That's the correct answer.
Oh, also Topher Grace was in this. I forgot to mention that.
Could have been anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Could have been a guy off the street. I wouldn't have cared.
it was not that magnetic.
No. Granted, he didn't really have anything to do
Not really.
other than get punched in the face.
And get kissed by,
Jessica Chastain.
yeah.
Motherfucker. Should have been me. They would have been like, who's that fat guy? That was
That's
never
Topher
in
Grace.
anything.
He let himself go.
Yep. Super transmorphative. Yes. Transgender.
What?
Somewhere an actor just lost their job. You know, I never jerked off in front of anyone that didn't have it coming.
Are we really going to get into this?
No, we're not. I just couldn't think of anything to say. And I was like, yeah, Louis C.K.
Okay, should we go scenes then?
Yeah,
Since...
better. I'll let you go.
Me?
You too.
You?
It's tradition, but this movie's so good that I wouldn't want to steal a scene from either you who haven't seen it or Drew. I have multiple favorite scenes.
Oh, go ahead, sir.
I don't know. Something really sticks with me about that scene in the school with McConaughey when they're talking about how his kid's doing.
Right.
He's an excellent farmer, one of the smartest minds they have at that place. And McConaughey says, "What about college?" And he goes, "Well, you know, there are plenty of engineers. We need really good farmers."
Mm-hmm. And his numbers just aren't high enough.
Yeah, his numbers aren't high enough. And then what's the line that he
goes, "What size pants you wear?" And he goes, "Probably 32 waist, 33 long or something." And he goes, "So you need 2 numbers to measure your ass, but only 1 to measure my kid," which is that's an awesome line.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, just something about McConaughey has such conviction when he talks, and he just, I don't know, he seemed genuinely upset with the staff. I don't know, it was just it was a good scene. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed it.
That scene triggered me.
Where she starts talking about all the Apollo missions were fake to bankrupt the Soviet Union.
And Neil Armstrong was pissed too.
Oh God!
I've seen him punch a guy in the face that was yelling on the street
about
how the moon landing was faked.
By the way, I mean, if you don't believe it's real, that's fine. That's your own stupidity. But who here?
Shots fired.
Yeah. Hey, somebody else has to do something on here besides just you, Jake.
I'm proud of you.
Do you guys believe the moon landing was real?
Yeah, I do.
I do too.
Yeah.
I get the conspiracy theorists, but because I have my own things I'm a theorist on.
Oh.
Like the JFK shooting. I don't think it was just Harvey Oswald.
Lee Harvey Oswald?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an ice bullet.
Yes. No, I don't believe that.
The theories on that make me believe that we'll never figure anything out unless we're just told what happened.
Yeah.
Dude, speaking of that, have you guys heard about that's the Stephen King novel 11/22/63?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah. They did. Jane Franco did.
It's an 8-part miniseries on Hulu. It's fucking good.
Mm-hmm. Because it's about the assassination of JFK.
He's supposed to go back in time to stop the assassination of JFK. It's pretty cool.
Time paradox.
Yeah. It does. Anyways, my scene, I'm gonna go with the fucking docking scene.
Good scene.
Where Damon has stolen their lander, and they take his and go up to the station, and all shit goes to hell. Mm-hmm. And just all this, it just was intense. It just was
it's fucking crazy.
And just all the shots and you're spinning and everything. I was like, if I had watched this in IMAX, I probably would have thrown up.
Yeah. Or been drunk.
Yeah. Because
you'd have been like, what the fuck is happening right now?
That just was, it just was amazing to watch.
Yeah. The music?
Mm-hmm. And just, you could tell they were models in that, but
it didn't take away.
It didn't take away. It just was so awesome to see that.
Yeah. Literally one of those hold your breath and just.
And I did. I was like, oh my gosh. They're probably getting out of this.
Right.
But just part of you is like, what the fuck?
And that's the beauty of movies. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are kind of, what's going to happen, but you're still maybe it won't. You're on the edge of your seat, and just being along for the ride is great.
All right, Jake.
I have 2. But I wanted you guys to go first so I didn't feel bad about stealing a possible one. And they're right next to each other. The mountains scene, where they go down to the first planet, and you're like, what the fuck is all this water? And they go out and find the beacon, and it's broken apart and just underwater, and you're like, what's going on right now? And Anne Hathaway is frantically trying to get her shit,
her records, and
McConaughey's kind of just looking around, and like this music, it starts off as like kind of a clock type thing because they really establish before they land, like every hour you're here, fucking 7 years go by. So it really ratchets up the tension to just hear that score with the ticking and the orchestra just getting crazy, and you're like, something's gonna happen right now, or I'm fucking losing my shit. And Hathaway makes the comment, "Oh, it's further out towards those mountains," and McConaughey responds, "Those aren't mountains," and the camera just cuts to a giant fucking, I don't know, hundreds of feet tall wave, just a solid wave, and you're like, oh fuck, that's gonna kill everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the gravity is strong because the time's fucked. So you're like, how are they gonna run back to the ship? Like you immediately are caught up in everything that's happening, and Anne Hathaway being a dumbass, the fucking part of the ship falls and pins her down, and it just makes everything more intense. And was it Tars or Case that went? I think Case went down. Case takes off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And saves Anne Hathaway and is coming back, and Wes Bentley ends up not making it in, and this wave just hits, and the ship's getting thrown all over the place, and just plummeting off, and it's fucking crazy. And then that confrontation where he's just telling her, you got him killed. This is your fault. We lost all this time. Like, you might have fucked humanity. And she's just like, I thought I was doing the right thing. That's a great fucking scene.
My question only with that planet is, like, how are they just, like, walking like it's nothing?
I don't think it was deep.
Yeah. But, man. So what, like, this world is made up of just giant waves of water?
That must just go around the planet. You don't want to live there.
No.
That sucks.
Because I don't even think there's land.
That's the thing that makes you wonder, how come they didn't see it going down?
Mm-hmm.
But maybe, I don't know, I guess the vastness of a planet you wouldn't really know.
And they had to break through the clouds.
Right. So I guess it makes sense that they might land and just be like, well, let's see what happens. They're giving us the signal. It must be okay. But I was going to say the other scene that is heartbreaking, I think, is right after that when they come up and McConaughey sits down at that chair and, the machine goes 23 years of messages and bam, you watch your kids grow up. Like, can you imagine sitting in a chair and watching years of messages?
Mainly from your son, because your daughter is pissed at you.
And it just goes by in a matter of minutes. And
you see him talking, hey, Dad, I met a girl. And McConaughey's bawling. He's acting his ass off. Like, really. I cried the first time I saw that scene.
It was emotional.
And the music is just incredible. Just that, it's actually the song that Hans wrote thinking about his son that I think Nolan was saying ended up being like the core of what they wanted to do.
He said he ended up, I think it was meant for the one with his daughter.
Right. Well, he told, Hans said he wrote it thinking about his son and what it feels like to be a dad. And then he said it was only later that I found out it wasn't about a son, it was about a daughter. Because who cares about Casey Affleck?
Yeah. Right.
But that fucking scene.
Manchester by the Sea? Fuck him.
Did you watch that?
No. I'm just making a joke. Because I knew that was the last movie he was in. Not good?
It's a movie. It's fine. I guess. But, yeah, that scene's heartbreaking. Just watching, not only watching your kid grow up, but watching him not believe in you anymore. When just a moment ago, you went down and everything was fine. Like, it showed him sending a message not long before that. And it's like, all this time's gone by, and you haven't been here. And, yeah, he just didn't believe in him anymore.
Well, he goes, his wife, I don't remember his wife's name.
Lois.
Lois says, I gotta
let you go. Yeah. Which is
sad.
Rough. And then, like, the music just cuts out. Like, right when that video cuts out. And then Murph shows up and, yeah.
Gives her 2 cents.
It's a super memorable scene. All right.
Just a little background on this film. $165 million budget, made 675.1. On Rotten Tomatoes has 71% by critics, 85% overall. I did get a chance to look through some of the negatives, but some guy from some critic from San Diego said there are many words to describe Interstellar. Entertainment is not one of them.
What?
Yeah, but Richard Roper said it's one of the most beautiful films he's ever seen. So, but and then on IMDb, there's too much trivia to go through, so I did get a chance. IMDb, there's 8.6 out of 1.1 million ratings, and a 74 on Metacritic.
So that probably puts it in the top 250 for people that actually care about IMDb's top 250.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't a bad place to start if you're looking for something to watch, I guess. But
yep.
Spielberg was going to do it originally.
Really?
Didn't know
Back
that.
in like 2006, I think.
I thought Nolan wrote the script.
I think I think Nolan's brother was interested in it, or he'd heard about it or something. I can't remember who wrote it, but I know Nolan's brother was involved before Christopher Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, hey, we should tackle this. Because I guess Spielberg had it, but he didn't end up doing anything with it, or he didn't have time, or whatever. Or he's just like, I'm fucking Steven Spielberg, and I don't have to do shit, so you'll take Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and fucking like it.
Hey, at least he apologized for that. He said it wasn't good enough.
I bet he doesn't work with Shia LaBeouf again.
Nope, I guarantee you that doesn't happen.
I feel like
But
a
then
lot of
again,
people...
I mean, Megan Fox started working with
Michael Bay?
again, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care.
That's different. That's like, no one else will take me.
Alright. We just want to go into reviews then?
I suppose.
Alright, Jake.
Gross. I think... How bold should I go?
How bold should you go?
Should I just say what I want to say?
Say whatever the fuck you want.
I think it's the best space movie ever made.
Whoa.
What would you put above it? Granted, I know this is review, but I'm interested.
One Star Wars.
I wouldn't.
I'm just
Leprechaun in space.
Okay.
Jason X.
Back to the review. I think it's the best space movie ever made. I think it just narrowly beats out Sunshine for me. I fucking love Sunshine, but I really think this is one of the most well-made ones. 2001 doesn't really do all that much for me. I understand everybody holds it in super high regard, but I think that's kind of hipster shit at this point, and it's a bunch of people that don't actually like it. They're just saying they like it because everyone else likes it. Is that bold enough?
Yeah.
I don't think 2001's all that great. I think the part with Hal is pretty cool, but there's a whole other half of that movie that isn't all that interesting.
I was to say, I don't even think I could make it through 2001.
Well, the whole second half is about an old man turning into a baby, and oh yeah.
I didn't even get to that part.
Oh yeah, and a monolith and all this. Regardless, we didn't do 2001. I think the music for this movie is fucking spectacular. I don't think it could be any better. I don't think anyone could have done a better job. I think it's perfect. I think it brings the film as a whole up. I think McConaughey was a great casting choice because he just... You get lately, not back in the day, but McConaughey brings quality to everything he does because he puts heart into it. I think everybody else was great that had a major role. Topher Grace, I could take it or leave it, whatever. I think the pacing's pretty good. I think for the most part, you're on the edge of your seat.
Mm-hmm.
You want humanity to make it? Even I wanted humanity to kind of make it. Kind of. Maybe not everyone. But some.
Yeah.
just a fucking well-made movie. I'd give it a 10 because I can't give it anything else because I feel that it's earned it above a lot of other movies.
Drew?
This is probably about my fourth time watching this. It's a great film. McConaughey's great. Just fucking slaughters it. Everyone else is really good in this too. Like, Anne Hathaway is really the only one I can just be like, she was just kind of there. I mean, she delivers some important lines with conviction, but I thought she was kind of one of the weaker cast members. But all in all, just a fantastic film. Effects above and beyond anything I've ever seen in a movie ever. What a huge undertaking by Nolan. Like, he just makes good movies, man. I highly recommend it to anybody if you're into space or if you're into drama or any of that. You may look at the runtime and feel kind of shocked at 3 hours, you know. But for me, it flies right by. It's fantastic. I'd give it a 9.
Yeah, this is my first time, unfortunately, because it's the world we live in, that I had some of this spoiled for me, but except for maybe the third act, there really wasn't anything ruined. And even what I did know in the third act, just kind of, I think, helped me understand it a little bit better, but at the same time, I'll still raise questions. For me personally, but just how I looked at it. But visually stunning. McConaughey is amazing. Damon is great. Hathaway's kind of just there. But for me, I think she's just there. But Nolan is an amazing director, and I love his work. I mean, besides the Batman films, I've never really went to the theater to see any of his stuff. But maybe I should.
Not even Inception?
Oh, no, I forgot Inception. But, yeah, I did see Inception in theaters. That was a damn good film.
That was fucking amazing in
but,
the theater.
Like, Memento, I was younger, so I didn't know. And then I saw that, and I was like, wow, that was trippy. But,
I hated it the first time.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I was just like, what the fuck? Anyways, Interstellar is amazing. I don't know. I'd have to go through and think about what all space movies I've seen, but it would probably be in my top 3. Yeah, this film is a 10.
Wow.
What?
Have you ever given a 10?
Yeah, I gave it
MacGruber.
10. No, I gave 9.9 for MacGruber.
You didn't even give MacGruber a 10.
I gave 10 to something else. I know that. Turkey.
There might be hope for you after all.
Why wouldn't I think this is a 10? I honestly, like
What's
I said,
wrong with you?
I'm just as shocked as you are. It's a great movie. Like,
not a 10 though.
It's
like the only I have.
Don't judge me.
Don't get me wrong. I have a couple cons with the film, but I still think it's an amazing cinematic achievement, and that's why I have to give it a 10.
Okay, I understand. I was just going to ask what. Let's all describe what goes into a 10. Like, when we give a 10, being the highest rating, is it...
Well...
What does it mean to you?
For me, the film was groundbreaking. Yes, groundbreaking. Like, just top-notch, like, visuals, stunning, everything. But, like, this film... And people be like, how do you give MacGruber a 9.9? It's not visually stunning. No. For that film alone... Like, I have to categorize different genres.
Right.
For this, being, like, a sci-fi drama, it's visually just stunning and breathtaking. And a story interesting as hell. Like, just...
Right.
And captivating.
Riveting.
Yeah. Like, I think there are a few issues with the script itself, but, like, not enough for me to be able to deter it and say it's not a 10. Like I said, the third act to me is a little weak compared to the rest of the film, but I think some of that too was like, they're like, how can we wrap this all together to get the ending we want? And I can forgive them for that. Like I said, another con for me is the runtime's a little long. I prefer a movie to be 2:15. 2:15, I don't think that's bad. It's over 2 hours, but when you start pushing that 3 hour mark, Like I said, this film didn't feel like it. That for me, that's what makes a 10. In at least this type of genre,
Right. And we do judge on entertainment, but it's just one of those. I don't think it could be any more entertaining for me. Like, I'm always excited to watch it, and I hadn't seen it in a while. I deliberately, honestly, when we started the pod, I always kind of had this in mind. Cloud Atlas was one I always had in mind, and kind of waited a while. Green Room, when I saw it, I had that in mind. So we judge on an entertainment scale, and for me, when I give a 10, it's a movie that I couldn't imagine being any more entertaining than it already is. And whether the entertainment comes from the quality in which it was made or the humor, and like you said, it kind of depends on the genre. Like, something like MacGruber, I understand you giving it a 9.9 if you really like slapstick and bad movies. Just kidding.
Go to hell.
But I understand. It's personal preference, and it's whatever you feel that pinnacle is. And for me, usually it's a movie that I think raises the bar for everything else in the genre. I think this movie absolutely raises the bar, or fucking shatters it. But that's what I consider a 10. Have you given a 10?
Yeah.
What'd you give a 10 to?
Well, Big Lebowski.
That is a 10. I'd agree with that.
I'd give another 10s too.
I was going to say, I know I had given one other one, but I don't remember what it was for. I'll have to go back through it.
There was one we all gave 10s for.
It wasn't Gone
Gone Girl was high for you.
It was high, but I don't think it was a 10. But let Drew explain, and I'll look back through our catalog what his 10 scale is.
She needs nice titties.
I mean, that doesn't hurt the rating. I don't know, a story that I care about, something that I'm captivated by, something that inspires me to actually think about what I'm seeing on screen, the situation that's unfolding, the story that's being told.
Roger Rabbit, that's what he gave a 10 on.
Oh, yeah. Didn't I give a 10 on that too?
Probably.
I think I did. That movie's incredible. Anyways.
It's a 10. If I didn't give it a 10, it should have been a 10.
Just a movie that I just don't think really has anything to improve on or anything that needs to be worked on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what needed work in this?
See, I knew you were gonna ask me that.
Just to watch him squirm.
Damn, I was just trying to close the gap in between. I did not expect Todd to give this a 10.
You were trying to close the gap.
Yeah, it was purely political.
Oh.
It was a political move on my part.
Well, we don't get political here.
No, hashtag stick to movies.
Poor fat kitty. Well, we're in a weird spot now.
Yep.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You like what you like.
Yeah, exactly.
You gave what your heart felt, so...
I feel like I've given a lot of 10s, though.
Dude, this movie's fucking fantastic. Like, it's amazing.
Drew announces his upcoming pick, which due to awful audio quality has been cast into the abyss, along with several other pods.
So that'll do it for this week. Like, share, subscribe. We're working on getting our back catalog up. It's fine.
I'm a failure?
No, you're not a failure.
They'll be up, the back
Right,
catalog will be up before the new shit.
If this is the last pod you listened to in like a 12-hour stretch today, that means that we're caught up.
Yeah.
We're in a time paradox right now.
Yeah. You actually died last week.
The third act, we're sorry. It kind of got bad.
Nah, we never have weak pods.
Bullshit.
Jaws is my favorite pod.
Hey, Fred likes Jaws.
Why?
It's because I've told Fred some of the shit we cut out of Jaws.
We cut a lot of shit out of Jaws.
Going back after a long time and listening to Jaws, I'm like, it's a miracle that any of this makes any sense.
Oh, shit. Net neutrality would kill us with Jaws.
Oh.
I don't think I used that right, but I don't care. Anyways, like, share, subscribe, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Libsyn, Apple Podcasts.
iTunes.
Apple Podcast.
iTunes.
Or otherwise known as iTunes.
How about them apples?
Oh, Matt Damon!
I don't like
You
those
still haven't seen
apples,
Good Will
Will.
Hunting, have you?
Goodwill Hunting?
Yeah. Good Will Hunting.
What is he hunting?
Goodwill?
What's Goodwill? Like a dude named Will?
Yeah. Who's a good guy.
Oh my god.
It's like reindeer games.
No. Was it Charlize Theron that was in that?
I think so. I'm Ben Affleck, yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Anyways. Alright, that'll do it for this week. I'm Ty.
Jake.
And I'm Drew.
Bye.